Hi guys, what's up? I am very cold. It is chilly outside, isn't it? But I hope you're well. I hope you are as well as you possibly can be, given the circumstances of existing. I am coming to you live for another Tuesday Astro Tea update. And well, first and foremost, my name is Jasmine Kylene. I'm a spiritual counselor and conscious media journalist, and I do updates like this as well as other conscious media related things and workshops. So feel free to follow me on Instagram or check me out on YouTube and whatever platform you're watching for more of my stuff. I also make color healing teas and all the things. But anywhoosies, I wanted to hop in because I always do these updates, but also this is kind of like the period in between the lunar eclipse that we experienced and the solar eclipse that is coming up next week on the 14th, as well as the great conjunction that's happening right after it, which I'm so excited to dive further into as we get closer to those really like monumental moments in astrology. But I figure since we're kind of like in this like middle space in between where people could be feeling really energetically stimulated and overwhelmed or even exhausted, I wanted to kind of like hop in to break down what's going on and what you may be feeling, as I usually do. So first things first, we obviously had the lunar eclipse last week, which was incredibly powerful, especially for those of you who identify with having mutable signs, right? So Sagittarius or Pisces, Gemini, or Virgo. If you have any prominent placements in those signs and you really felt that eclipse, or you really felt the themes of that eclipse take hold in your life. And we are still kind of coming off that. The thing with eclipses is that it's not like a one-time, and I said this last time, I believe, but eclipses aren't, a one-time energy and then we move on. There's an unveiling. There's a reckoning of truth. There's a reveal of truth that happens, and it happens over time. So whatever themes happened or whatever things were revealed to you during the time of the lunar eclipse, allow these next few weeks to just watch whatever happened unfold. Watch whatever happened blossom. And what I mean by that is that sometimes we can, for example, if you think, I realized during the eclipse that like, I want to get rid of this job, or I want to get out of this relationship, or I want to do this, that's good. Honor that. But I wouldn't say to immediately act on the emotion or immediately act on this new truth that you've uncovered, but rather sit with it, observe it, and see how everything plays out within the next few weeks before you make any commitments, just because eclipses can be tricky like that. It's not really a time of manifesting, but rather a time of observing and honoring what comes up. And there's a huge, I say shift and I say new chapter, but I feel like that doesn't even really fully encompass what's happening right now. We're moving into not a new chapter, but a new era, a new way of self, a new way of being, a new way of experiencing ourselves and experiencing our environments around us. So we really want to make sure that we're honoring that. So whatever the eclipse is showing you needs to be removed. Make sure that makes sense for this new truth that you're showing up to. It's when we're stepping into this new era, right? There's the great conjunction. I'm really excited to get into it as we near it, but it's essentially the dawning of the age of Aquarius, right? Sorry, I got a call. But Jupiter and Saturn, which are both incredibly prominent planets, are moving into the sign of Aquarius. So it's this notion of, we're stepping into a space that's going to be revolutionizing the way we experience ourselves on a collective level, but also on a personal level. So because we're moving into such a transformative period, we really want to make sure that we're not bringing any baggage in there. We really want to make sure that we are honoring our authentic and true self. When we are letting our intuition lead, and when we are operating from a place that is congruent with who we truly identify ourselves with and not who we think we need to be, then we're always going to be in alignment, and we're going to actually be in alignment with this new evolution. And so I know that if you've been following my videos, it sounds like I've been saying the same thing over and over, and it's like almost annoying to myself to have to say it over and over, but I can't stress enough that is the theme right now. The theme is activation. And before we can step into this place of manifesting what this new soil is gifting us, we want to make sure that we're getting rid of any weeds that are no longer serving us. And so any themes that have come up right now, I can guarantee you it has nothing to do with anything that's brand new, right? And what I mean by that is that if you're looking at the way you have been identifying your relationships or career or your own self-development, maybe cycles that you have been allowing to perpetuate for too long. I can guarantee that this is not the first time that this has been called to your attention, and this is not the first time that you've realized that you needed to look at it. But this is the first time you're being forced to, because we can often evade the work that we need to do. We can evade those tough conversations with self and external sources and places. But right now the universe is saying, you know, I've given you plenty of opportunities to review this, and if you're not going to do it, then I'm just going to do it for you. Hi, my queen. The universe is, I think the universe has acted as gentle as it possibly could with us thus far. And it's kind of reached a point where it's saying, we're going to take it from you if you're not willing to give it up. So any themes that have been coming up right now, if you've been evading looking at them, know that now is the time to do it. Because like I said, this is not a new chapter that we're stepping into. This is a new era. This is a DNA change. This is a brand new experience of self. So you want to make sure that you are honoring it by, being honest with yourself. You know, eclipses are not just a reveal of truth that is internal. Can you link me these earrings? Yes, I will send it to you. Text me and I will send it to you, because I don't remember the name right now, but I know that I have it in my email. But thank you, queen. But eclipses are a reveal of truth, not just the truth that we have been avoiding telling ourselves, but also a truth that maybe we didn't know externally, as far as maybe motives of people around us, or maybe work environments that we realize aren't honoring our truths or honoring our power. So whatever is coming up right now is meant to come up. We may be exhausted emotionally, physically, but eclipses are very draining. It's very draining energy. So just, you know, ride through the wave and know that it'll pick back up. But this is just was meant to happen. You know, we're moving out of this energy of the lunar eclipse, was very much like shaking of like, what do you need to get rid of in order to build a solid foundation for yourself? And now moving into the solar eclipse, it's like, okay, well, now that we have this solar energy, this vitamin D energy, you know, that's like feeding this new soil, what are we making sure that we're planting in it? You know, it's a new moon, and new moons are typically for manifestations, but this is so much more powerful than your average transit. This is really, this is like life-changing, transformative energy. And with the great conjunction following it, it's like, this has the power to change the course of your life fully. This has the power to, these are transits, you know, with Saturn and Jupiter moving into Aquarius. These are transits that are going to be lasting for decades. So this energy is not energy that's going to be around and go away. This is energy that's going to be lasting foundationally for a very long time. So it's important that you're intentional with how you're showing up to it. What else do I have written down? Yeah, so on the solar eclipse, get clear on what you're replacing with it. I don't know if this is necessarily a time to act, because like I said, eclipse energy can oftentimes backfire on us, but it is a time to get clear on it, and it's a time to seek your own mental clarity. And there's an emphasis on destiny and fate. So a lot of the things that are happening to you right now, especially if you have a lot of mutable energy in your chart, so like I said, Sagittarius, Gemini, Virgo, or Pisces, there are a lot of destined and fated interactions and experiences that are happening in your life right now. So you want to make sure that you're honoring that by knowing that whatever is coming up right now has been written and is playing a grand role in the grand scheme of things. Solar eclipse, great conjunction, winter solstice, moving into the dawn of the age of Aquarius. Not the actual age of Aquarius, which many people have confused, but the dawning of the age of Aquarius. So we want to make sure that we're honoring that. And on a collective level and on a personal level, there's a deep awakening. Right now is really the time, and this is like the most important message that I really wanted to share this week. Now is the time to step into your role as an alchemist. The universe is much easier to manipulate when you realize that you are the universe. The water that is in the sea is what makes up 70% of your body. The wind that blows through the trees is what fuels your lungs. We are the earth. We move with the lunar cycles, and everything is connected. If you are missing God and you're searching for God, you only have to look in yourself. And I know that sounds very like out there and convoluted, but what I mean by that is that when you recognize that time is malleable and your experience is directly derivative of your course, of course. When you realize that time is malleable and that your experience is directly derivative of how you choose to perceive it, and that reality is simply a choice that is made following a choice that is made following a choice, you can be more intentional and you can realize that your reality is, it's a Lego set and you can pick what pieces. And so it's really important that we step into our roles as alchemists and that we create what it is that we want to experience, and that we get rid of what we know is not serving this reality that we are destined to be part of, right? Because like I said, this is very fated. This is very destined energy. This is like a moment of activation. Like, are you going to be stepping into this role that you've been meant to be stepping into the whole time? Or are you going to play it safe and like abide by timelines that don't challenge you, but, you know, also don't scare you? But without taking leaps of faith, you just kind of stay stagnant. So right now we're really being called to step into our own activation, to step into our roles as alchemists, and to really make, to really squeeze as much juice that we can out of this reality, out of this incarnation. We chose to incarnate in this time, in this dawning of the age of Aquarius, in this age of internet and of digital connection. So it's important that we understand our roles and that we show up for them. So see yourself as connected to everything, and spend time honoring that. So spend time in meditation right now, especially. Spend as much time as you can in meditation, in nature, connecting with people who are your soul family. Having these kind of conversations, really be rooted in the magic of what is right now, because the veil is incredibly thin and the universe is really asking this of you. It really, really is. And allow the realities that exist behind your choices to unfold in your mind's eye, and subscribe to the one that resonates. I had that written down and that sounds very long, but what I mean by that is that we have a lot of timelines that are in front of us right now. And so in order to make sure that you are staying on the one that is of the highest possible vibration, subscribe to your third eye. Let yourself be intuitively led. In your mind's eye, feel out what choice you're deciding between, and feel out what would magically unfold after that, and what would unfold after that, because you're your own best counsel and you can always see into interdimensionalities if you allow yourself to. And in that, you can create the best possible reality. But it's also worth noting that we're never going to know the end result, and so that shouldn't be relying on if we take that first step. The first step is always just simply the first step, but knowing that you have the power to be led by intuition and to know what best serves you, and to know that this time right now is incredibly thin. It is incredibly synchronistic, is incredibly fated and destined. I mean, the transits that are happening right now are transits we haven't seen in like 700 years. I mean, the fact that Jupiter and Saturn are finally going to be not even just in the sign of Aquarius, but in an air sign, right? We've been dealing with like Earth energy in Saturn and Jupiter, which, you know, are very opposite planets, but are going to ultimately be working together to really build structure in this new sense of revolution that we are experiencing. So lastly, I wanted to show you guys the cards that I pulled for this week, which is crazy because I've been pulling, I mean, obviously this deck has like over 70 cards in it, but I keep pulling the same cards in like different order. So it's just kind of like, I get it. Same message, but sorry, I just got a text and it confused me. But the first card is the Power card, which in this deck is the Strength card of the tarot. And it came out right alongside Rest and Rejuvenate. So what I'm assuming this means is basically that right now we're being called, hi Jess, I love you, I'm so happy to see you. Right now, we are being called to honor our spiritual strength. We are being called to show up for ourselves, to have these difficult conversations, to say yes to ourselves, to say yes to our own evolutions, which is difficult. And in that, you do want to make sure that you are interweaving however it is that you are exhausting your own mind with rest and rejuvenation. I think we can really be caught up in the cerebral, and we can really be caught up in overthinking everything and being in a state of fear of how this will play out or how that will play out. So make sure that you are also, aside from showing up and being strong and knowing that you are capable of doing and having these conversations and getting rid of what does not serve you, resting, allowing your mind to rest, allowing your body to rest, connecting to what is physical, connecting to what is grounding, is really important. So balancing the two and knowing that as long as you are pushing through this molasses-like energy and honoring what you know is your divine calling, you're going to have the recognition and reward. I know that sometimes we can be working for a long time and not see the benefits of it and get overwhelmed and think that maybe we made the wrong choice, or we're, in a state of mistakes, but knowing that the reward is coming for you, And that, lastly, we're building the foundation. I mean, this card is foundation and achievements, but I mean, above all else, especially with the rainbow, it's like, and it's 444. It's this notion of like, this is such a fated time, which I keep saying over and over, but like, it's such a fated time that the choices we are making right now are setting us up for the foundation for what we will be experiencing for minimum the next 10 years. I promise you. It's the choices you're making in your relationships and your careers and your commitment to self and your commitment to spirituality and your commitment to your own personal evolution that is setting you up for the life that you're going to be living long term. These transits are no joke. This lunar eclipse, this solar eclipse, and especially this great conjunction that's coming up on this winter solstice. It's like the universe has gently this entire year tried to pull you out of maybe any cycles or habits that have not been serving you. And if you haven't been honoring that, it's okay. But right now we're not playing anymore type of energy. Like if you're not going to get rid of it yourself, we'll take it from you. And if you choose to go back to it and honor that safe timeline, honor that safe space, honor what is not honoring your truth, but maybe honoring your sense of comfort or subscribing to your own fear, then you're going to stay in that stagnancy. You're going to stay in that like lower level sense of evolution. Are you speaking to my soul? I love you. The fact that we literally just talked for like 3 hours and now we're like, anyway, let's just talk online. And the last thing, I always share journaling prompts. So what I would encourage you to journal on right now is, what truth has been revealed to me and am I honoring it? Like I said, the eclipses are catalysts in revealing external truths and internal truths. So what have you learned about yourself? What have you learned about the people around you? What have you learned about your experience? And how are you going to honor it? If you learn that you're not happy in a certain environment or in a certain relationship or in a certain experience that you are, surrounding yourself by, how are you going to honor that? Are you going to get rid of it? Are you going to stay in it because it's safe? What are you going to do? And also just truth is a really huge theme right now. I think there's love and then there's true love. And there's passion, but then there's true passion. So honoring what your truth is and what the truth looks like for your higher self and all of that good stuff. So I'm really excited because next week is a new moon. So I'm really excited to come in and talk about that. And I'm really excited to talk about the Great Conjunction and all the other things. But that is kind of like the middle ground that I wanted to share right now. We're just still in the influence of this lunar eclipse, which was a lot, but rightfully so. So, if you're feeling overwhelmed by it, you're not alone. I'm real tired. Everybody I know is real tired. I love you guys, Chloe and Jess, for joining. I'm going to share this on YouTube and on Instagram. So if you're watching the replay, you're not alone. That's it. Adore you guys. Follow and subscribe. That's all. Have an amazing week. Bye.